What's up, everybody? And welcome to another episode of Amplified Nevada Native Youth. We're excited to be back for our live show for this Thursday. It feels like it's been forever, but it's only been a couple weeks since we've actually gone live. But to introduce yourself, my name is Avery White. I'm your host, or one of your co-hosts at least. I'm a recent graduate of the University of Nevada, Reno. I'm your ANNY coordinator. Have been since August, and I think we're on a pretty good run, and we're glad to host for the month of March. Technical schools, career colleges, and today we have a cool show ahead of you as we feature applied technologies at TMCC. And so next week we're going to be featuring Great Basin College and what they offer. So while they do offer career and technical schools at GBC, we also want to highlight the school as a whole too. So if you're interested in GBC, feel free to tune in next week, same time, same place, Thursday on our Facebook and YouTube page. But first, I'd like to introduce my co-host, Ferdina Romero. Ferdina, would you like to introduce yourself a little bit?
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another Thursday night. It's great to be back. We took a couple weeks off and provided some really important information to you. So thank you, Avery, for sharing that on our Facebook and Instagram and putting it into our YouTube page. I'm excited for tonight because, many times our students are asking and requesting to find different types of education. So I'm looking forward to this presentation. So back to you, Avery. Oh, by the way, I'm Ferdina Joy Romero with the Nevada Department of Education in the Southern Paiute. Now back to you, Avery.
Mm-hmm. And so to introduce our guest for today, so we have Carlos from TMCC. Carlos, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, maybe the work you do now, and maybe some future goals that you have.
Mhm. Hi, Avery. Hi, Ferdina. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Carlos Castro-Peralta, and I'm a recruiter at TMTC. My main position is recruiter for adult and non-traditional students. And just this past year has been difficult for all of us, but we're so excited that we're hopefully turning the corner. And we've been working from home, but on April, most of us will be working back from campus, and we're excited to see the students. We're excited to help them out with the steps to enroll, scholarships, and show them the programs at TMCC. I've been working at TMCC for the last 3 years, and my office is located at the Applied Technology campus, which is behind the airport area. And I'm so thankful that my office is there because I got to learn about these hands-on technology programs that I'll be sharing with you. So once again, thank you for having me, and I'm excited to be here.
Cool. Yeah, we're excited to have you. I'm excited to learn more about applied technologies. And I know it's kind of like what Dina said, where we've had students and people request that we do more technical schools and career colleges because, and I know we talked about this before, that not everyone's path is to a major university or a big school or a tribal college. So we're glad to hear what you have to say today. And yeah, did you have anything for us real quick before we start your presentation?
Let's get it started.
Cool, cool. And yeah, just feel free to let me know whenever you want to change slides and we should be good to go.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, next slide. And yeah, Avery, thank you for having me. And I agree with you. There is a big myth that college is a 4 year thing, 4 years of sitting at a desk, reading from a book. But TMCC is a community college where we offer different types of degrees. And if we look at this page, we start at the bottom where we see the skill certificate. The skill certificate can take up to 5 to 6 months, and you just take a couple of classes and you're ready to start your career with entry level knowledge. Next, we have the certificate of achievement. This one will take about 1 year. It's similar to the skill certificate, but we'll add a couple more of the general requirement classes, which those can be English and math. And of course, we have our two associate's degrees, the Associate of Applied Science. With this degree, you're also ready to enter the workforce. An example of that can be a graphic design degree. You don't need any more education to enter the workforce. And then the top degree are our Associates of Arts degrees and the Associate of Science degrees, which these can be transferred to a 4-year school. All of the programs that I'll be talking about include the Skill Certificate, Certificate of Achievement, and the Associate's degree. Go ahead, next slide. All right, so the first program is our Automotive program. And like I said, if you just want to take a couple of classes, you'll be able to get a skill certificate in about 5 to 6 months. In this Automotive program, you will learn everything you need to learn about cars, whether it is to change a tire, fix the brakes, the heating, the cooling, the engine, then transmission. You'll learn everything you need to know about fixing an automotive. Another great thing about the program is that we have a tool room, so students don't need to purchase their own tools. We have a tool room where you can go ahead and use our tools, and whenever you're ready to graduate and go find a job, we also have partnerships with tool providers, and then you can purchase your tools at a discount. Here is a picture of our Automotive program where you can see how big the lab is, and students can be working up to 12 cars at a time. The TMCC campus also provides the cars. They constantly get grants to purchase newer cars, so that way the students have a chance to work in all types of different cars. Next slide. All right, right next to our Automotive program, we have our Diesel program. And as you can see here, we have big, huge semi-trucks, construction trucks, any kind of vehicle that requires diesel. The students will learn how to fix them here. The diesel mechanics do get paid a little more money than our automotive technicians, but of course, diesel, you have to be extra careful that you don't hurt your back, that you don't hurt your fingers, that you don't break an arm. A couple of years ago, one of our diesel instructors retired. I want to say he was in his 60s, and he said, for the last 40 years, I have never been out of a job. Right now, we live here in Northern Nevada where there's a lot of construction, maybe some smaller towns where there's some mines, and it is so important to have a diesel mechanic on hand in order to fix any equipment or any vehicles that may break down. Once again, you see how big the lab is. And like I said, in April, I'll be back at the campus. So if anybody wants to come and take a tour of this lab, I'll be more than happy to. You guys just have to come in person in order to really experience how big the labs are. Next slide. All right, this one shows our welding lab. And something really cool about our welding program is that the lab is open Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. So the students can come in whenever they want to do their lab work. There is no set times where the students have to come, like traditional college classes. The lab is also open on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So this is one of those programs that's really, you can go at your own pace. For example, welding lab can be from one semester, which can take 5 months. But if a student has a lot of time and a student decides to be constantly in the lab, they can finish one class in about a month or 2 months, and they can sign up for the next class right away. They don't need to wait until the next semester starts. Or once again, our welding instructors are experts on the field. There's over 100 different types of welds, and our instructors can certify you in every single type of welding. The only one we don't provide is underwater welding, because of course then we would need a pool or a tank or something. But one of our instructors was an underwater welder. So if you want to go that route, he can give you some really cool tips. Next one. All right, this is another great program that I didn't really even know it existed, right? This one is called machining. And just think about, so what is machining? So machining is every single piece of metal that you see is made through a machine. Those big machines on the back, those are called the CNC machines, the computer numeric control machines, and where you can program it. The students learn how to program, which is G code, and then you just put the piece of metal in the machine, and then it comes out. I included a picture of a chess set because this program is famous for making chess sets. In one of the advanced class, each student decides their own piece in the chess set, and then every student gets their own set. Reno, if you want to Google machining labs, you will see there's over 80, 90 machining employers here in Reno. Reno is one of those hubs that we make car parts, we make parts for houses, knobs, anything that turns. Cell phones have metal parts, or even weapons, airplanes. Any piece of metal is made through a machine, and Reno is a big machining hub. Next one. All right, this one is HVAC, which is heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. And this one is one of those programs that I think most students don't think it's a cool program, right? Like the other programs like automotive or welding or machining. But this is one of our highest demand programs. Every house, just think about the huge manufacturing warehouses that we have here in Northern Nevada. Tesla, Panasonic, Amazon. Tesla is supposed to be the biggest building in the world once it finally gets built. How many HVAC technicians do you think that they will need? I had a student I want to say right before the pandemic. He started with the HVAC program in September, and I saw him in December, and he already had his employer's jacket. I saw him walking around campus. I said hi to him all the time, and I was so excited to see him with his employer's jacket, and I congratulated him, and he was so nervous. He said, I go out by myself on jobs. I just go. My boss tells me, hey, just call me. Call me if you don't understand something, if you're stuck. But he had the knowledge in 4 months to go ahead and get an HVAC job and go do job by himself. Definitely one of our most high in demand jobs. We constantly get calls from the HVAC employers wanting to hire our students and then continue to pay their education for these students. So that way they improve their skills and they become experts. Next one. Advanced manufacturing. I already mentioned a little bit about Tesla and all of our warehouses here in Northern Nevada. And something we have to think about is that the warehousing game is changing a little bit. Where in the past, it was people putting things together or people moving things from one side to another, delivering, packaging, shipping out. But now it's changing where it really is machines doing most of the work. But once again, somebody needs to troubleshoot those machines. Somebody needs to make sure we fix the machines whenever they break down and whenever they need maintenance. Somebody needs to be able to fix those machines. Advanced manufacturing is another one of those programs that the lab is open, as well as machining. So welding, machining, advanced manufacturing, these programs have the labs open, and the students can come in and they can move at their own pace. And as soon as they finish a class, they can continue and sign up for the next class. Next slide. And of course, we do have construction. If anybody wants to do construction estimation or just build any buildings, design any buildings, we do have an awesome construction program. That is Craig, one of our construction instructors. And I think there's one more. And of course, our last program, I know sometimes I get a lot of students that they kind of tour the facility, right? And they tell me, Carlos, I'm more of a guy that wants to be at a desk job, right? I don't want to get dirty or lift up things, or I'm more of a desk kind of guy. And I think this is one of these hidden gems that people don't know about this program, drafting. Just think about it. Any piece, any any product, any product that anybody designs, somebody needs to draw it out first. So a table, a chair, a phone, a comb, a cup, a hat, a shirt, any kind of product, there needs to be a drafting designer. And this is just a picture of a student drafting. I believe it's a spaceship. And then on the right-hand side, we do have a 3D printer as part of our drafting program. So any student that wants to design a little toy or a little piece for their car or anything like that, they can go ahead and print it on our 3D printer machine. So definitely this is the hidden gem that gets hidden in all of those cool labs that we have at the Edison campus. Because of course, when you look at this lab, it's just a bunch of computers and a couple of 3D printers, where it doesn't look that cool as the automotive or welding labs. Next slide. All right, so I already talked about a couple of the programs that TMCC has to offer. And once again, I want to say that for every program, if you want to do a skill certificate, which that takes about 5 months, you can do a skill certificate in any of those programs. And with the skill certificate, you'll have enough entry-level knowledge to go ahead and enter the workforce. And as well, if you want to continue your education and get a 1-year certificate of achievement, for all those programs, we do offer that. And then as well, a 2-year degree. So it's really up to any student to see how much education they have. Of course, as educators, we want to push students to get the 2-year degree. But the reality is that a lot of these students, as soon as they have those skills, they find jobs, well-paying jobs, and their employers, of course, will offer to pay for more classes. But sometimes there is so much job that we lose the students. They're there 1 semester, 5 months, and they're out. So now I do want to talk about the steps to enroll. So how do we enroll at TMCC? As a recruiter, this is one of my biggest things that I do for students, help them guide through the enrollment process. Because unless you have a parent or an older brother and sister that went to college, this is definitely the most intimidating part about college. Next slide, please. All right, so here are our 3 required steps in order to become a student at TMCC. The first one is apply for admission. The second one is to complete SOAR, which is your student orientation. And the third one is to register and pay for your classes. Next slide. All right, so the application. Our application is on our TMCC website. It should really take about 10 to 15 minutes to complete. It's just going to ask for simple information like your name, your address, your phone number, your email, and what degree you would like to pursue. The application is $20, but you don't have to pay when you apply. You will only have to pay once you do enroll in those classes, and the $20 will be added to that bill. Next slide. All right, a couple of things to think about the application. Make sure you select which semester you would like to attend, the fall semester, the spring, or the summer. Make sure you select what degree you would like to pursue. And in about 3 days, you will get an email with your TMCC username, password, and student ID. Make sure you take a picture of this information because you will need this information in order to log into your TMCC account. Next, please. All right, student orientation. So you get your welcome letter. You have all your information there. Your next step is to log into your Canvas account and complete your student orientation. Your student orientation will be an online tutorial where you will read about TMCC. You will read about the free resources we have for you, for the students. And also at the end of the orientation, you will have tutorials that show you how to pick your classes depending on your major and how to enroll in your classes using your My TMCC account. Next slide. All right, so you finish orientation. You learned a little more about the college. You know how to pick your classes. Then your final step is to register and pay for your classes. I think this is another key part where the fall semester starts in August, and a lot of students wait till June and July to pick their classes. The classes for the August semester, the schedule is already out, and new students can go ahead and register for those classes on April 22nd. So on April 22nd, last week of April, that's when you already want to finish your orientation and you want to be ready to select those classes. We encourage students to select those classes as soon as possible so that way they can match up with their own personal schedule. I know a lot of students have family responsibilities or they have a job, your own personal responsibilities. So it is the best to select your classes in April and in May. That way you have a lot of classes to choose from. A lot of students, like I said, will wait till June or July. And unfortunately, at that point, there is only a little bit of classes to pick from. Another cool thing is that the payment for the classes is not due till August. I know a lot of students are applying for scholarships or applying for financial aid, and they're kind of just waiting. I always tell the students, go ahead and pick your classes, save your seat, save your spot, and then continue to apply for those scholarships, continue to verify your FAFSA and get that money. But if you wait till later on, then a lot of the classes will be full by that time. Next slide, please. All right, so we learned about the programs. We learned a little bit about the steps to enroll. So what about scholarships and grants? And I know this is one of the biggest barriers for students because definitely college is it's another added bill to the bills that we already have, but we have a lot of scholarships and grants. So we'll start with the first one, which will be the FAFSA. Next slide, thank you. Oh, actually, you're good. You're doing great, Avery. Thank you. No, go ahead, go back. Thank you. All right, so the cost breakdown. I know a lot of people, a lot of students, we think college is $20,000, $30,000. And unfortunately, some colleges, universities, they do cost that much. At TMCC, for an in-state student, per credit is $106. And if you go full-time for 1 year, it's close to $3,000 for your classes and for your fees. So that's the reality of it. And I think we're one of the most affordable schools in the state of Nevada. Next slide. All right, so we need $3,000 to go to school full time for 1 year. The first thing we recommend everybody to do is to complete your financial aid application, your FAFSA.gov application. If you're planning on going to school in the fall semester of 2021, make sure you complete the 2021-2022 FAFSA. What we're doing right here is we're asking the government to provide an educational Pell Grant, and the Pell Grant is money you don't need to pay back. So remember, Pell Grant is not a loan. Pell Grants you don't need to pay back. The government will ask for your tax information, and depending on your range, if you're low income, middle income, the government can give you up to $6,000 for 1 year to go to college. As we saw in the slide before, TMCC is about $3,000 for 1 year. So if you complete the FAFSA, you may be able to get about $6,000. So you'll be good for that year. And you can complete the FAFSA every year you complete it. And every year, depending on your income, you could get more money. Next slide. All right. So the FAFSA, like I said, the FAFSA is a national thing where all students can apply. Now I want to talk about a couple of TMCC scholarships. This one is the Jacobs Residential Scholars Program, and this one is for about 55 students. The goal of this scholarship is to look for unemployed or underemployed adults, which is 20 years of age and older. And these adults want to seek a short career. So once they get a 1 semester or 2 semester career and find employment right away after you complete the short certification. The best thing about this scholarship is that you get a mentor throughout the whole year. And that's what the students love about the scholarship, that they have someone to help them throughout the year whenever they may face a difficult time. As adults, especially now with COVID and students, I'm sure everybody, there's things that come up, and you just need that extra guidance and that person to really encourage you and to guide you along the way and to kind of push you a little bit, right? Whenever we want to give up, we need the special person to push us a little bit. So the Jacobs Residential Scholarship provides the money and the mentorship and the guidance throughout the whole year, and then also the encouragement to help you find a job once you complete that program. Next one. All right, so the last scholarship was only for about 55 people, and then this next scholarship is for as many people as apply, really. And this one is the William N. Pennington Applied Technology Scholarship. And this scholarship is for all those programs that I talked about. In Northern Nevada, all of those programs that I talked about are high demand jobs. And TMCC has a pool of money to give out to any of the students that want to pursue any of those programs. The requirement for this scholarship is for students to have a 2.0 GPA and be enrolled in at least 6 credits. So any student that wants to come see me, wants to take a tour, wants to get into one of these programs, let's sign up for 6 credits. Let's apply for the scholarship, and then you'll have money to take these classes. Next slide. All right, thank you. Thank you for joining me for this presentation. I think the next slide has my contact information. Yep, okay, so that's me. That's my email and my phone number. And like I said, in April, I'm so happy that we get to go back to the office. We get to give tours of the campus. We can help students one-on-one. I think for the tours, we just got to run it by someone to make sure and they know people are coming. But that's what I'm here for. That's my job, right? To give you a tour, to answer your questions. So please, if you have any kind of questions about the programs, about the scholarships, about how to apply, about other programs that TMCC has to offer, that's what I'm here for. And that is what my job is. And I know college is intimidating. I completely understand that. And just come, ask questions, call, take a tour, and that's what I'm here for. So thank you for having me.
Wow, Carlos, that was awesome. I mean, again, Avery, blown away by another college and that is offering so much to students. I think what captured me was the scholarships and the cost to go. So I think that's awesome. Hey, Kelly.
Yeah, I was gonna say too. That was probably one of the one of the most interesting presentations I've ever seen because I've never seen any or much information on applied technologies or even a career or tech schools too.
And I agree. I completely agree. I graduated from the University of Nevada, Reno, a few years ago, and then I went to Las Vegas. I went to Las Vegas. I was working at UNLV for a couple of years, and then I came back. And when I came back, I applied at TMCC for this position. And like you guys, I didn't know these programs existed until I was housed at that building. I took a tour, and there, since I am the recruiter for adult students, that's why I got housed there, and that's what I'm doing now. So I appreciate you guys so much. And when I received the email from Avery, and it was like, yes, this is what we want to do. These are the programs we want to highlight to the students right now, especially right now during COVID, where a lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of careers are not existing anymore right now because of COVID and the times. And these trade technology programs are in high demand. And after 5 months, you can go get a job real quick.
Right. And my husband's in HVAC, and it's continuously, they're continuously looking for people.
Mhm.
I was wondering too because I saw the cost of attendance in the slideshow,
Mhm.
but does that differ for a student going into trade? So, because I know that, like you said, some only go for a couple months, but then some will go for a little bit longer. So, what would you say is the average tuition for a student going into the trade compared to a regular student who goes there for 2 years?
Oh, that's a great question. And so the school charges by credit, per credit, right? And a semester full time can be 12 credits. So that's about 12, we'll say $1,300. So after one semester full time, $1,300, the student is able to go ahead and find employment. They have those tools, that knowledge, they'll go ahead and find that employment. Um, a person doing a 2 year degree, that's more like 60 credits, and that is more towards $6,000, a little more than that. So, um, and like you guys said, we have those scholarships available as long as you apply within time. A lot of the scholarships do want you to fill out the FAFSA, only because the FAFSA will let us know if you're low income, middle income, and then just depending on that, you can get that money. But um, I always tell people, come to me 3 months, 2 months before school start, and I can help you get all this going, and you can be ready.
Carlos, I just have a question. What do you know how many Native American students are attending that specific TMCC?
Mhm. Um, I don't have that information on top of my hand. Um, but I can tell you it's pretty low. It's really low. Yeah,
Yeah, it just
unfortunately.
seems like such a great opportunity for some of our students who aren't
Mhm.
ready for like the traditional, other TMCC on the
Mhm.
Hill, or even UNR.
And that's the thing, like we all mentioned, sometimes we don't even know these opportunities exist.
True.
And I'm hoping everyone can see and kind of gauge a little bit. Uh, but come by, take a tour so you can really see how big the labs are. You can see the instructors. All of our instructors are experts. They're experts on these fields where they could be making a lot more money, but they already made their money, right? They just want to teach. They just want to hang out, show the students how to do stuff, because all of our instructors could be making a lot more money if they were in that field. Um, so many times I'll give a tour to someone, the instructor will stop what they're doing, they'll come over for 5 minutes, they'll talk to the student, they'll see where they're at, and they'll just answer any questions they have. So I love that about the instructors, and I love that about the culture that we have there. That we're there to help people and to educate them, and just to help them find the jobs they need.
And I was wondering too, so if a student is thinking about maybe, or maybe they're conflicted about getting an associate's or going into the trade, is it possible to do like try out both at the same time?
Yes, of course. Um, and when you say associates, do you mean associates and this like automotive associates also, or
Mainly,
different?
I guess, just schools out like a degree outside of applied technologies.
Yeah, yeah. The only, of course, the students can do whatever they want. Of course, um, the only thing is, for example, the FAFSA application, right? If a student gets a grant, um, that money will only go towards one degree most of the times. Yeah, the FAFSA will say, okay, what degree do you want to pick? That's the one we're going to give you money for, because the government wants them students to graduate quick, right? They don't want students to do this or do that. Um, but we have different types of scholarships. So a lot of students want to take business or an entrepreneurship because they want to open up their own business in HVAC or automotive. So there's definitely ways to find the money for both. We'll work it out.
Hmm.
Don't tell anyone though. No.
Yeah, I won't tell the secrets.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking too about getting a at the university how you can get people can get two majors,
Mhm.
for instance. And so, for applied technologies, can a student do two of those at the same time, or would they have to finish one then come back?
They can always do two, and a lot of students do too. For example, welding, right? Welding is for everything. You're fixing a car, you need to know how to weld a part together. Um, Heating and ventilation, same thing. You need to know how to weld. So definitely welding is a trade that is good for all programs, and a lot of the students will jump around the trades.
Hmm. Okay, yeah, I was just wondering because I've always heard about getting a dual major in at a university or something like that, but I never heard about it at Truckee Meadows or other community colleges. So that's cool.
Hmm. Yes.
Did you have a question, Dina?
I think we kind of answered a majority of them that we kind of had. Is there anything else on that?
No, yeah, I think your presentation was really good, Carlos. It answered a lot of my
Mhm.
questions, and I think most importantly, I think it was just cool seeing all the different types of trades that are available. I didn't even think about like, oh, where does my doorknob get made, or where does this other piece of metal get made? Because it's always just kind of there, but you don't think about, oh, somebody has to make this thing. So that was really cool to see that a student may have the chance to actually be able to make metals or design on the computer or do it's called 3D printing, right? The other one.
Right, right.
Hmm.
Yeah, drafting. And that's the thing about drafting, right? It's just a computer lab. So when I give a tour and everybody sees these huge labs, and then we get to drafting, they're like, "Oh, what is this? Like, this doesn't look
Hmm.
cool." Um, but yeah, like I said, every product, somebody needs to draw it.
Hmm.
Somebody needs to learn the software and draw it and sketch it before it's made. And then we have the 3D printer, a couple of 3D printers there that um, a lot of students enjoy making their own design, making a little toy or something, a little figure, and then
Hmm.
using the 3D printer to print it out and actually see what it looks like. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I liked how you touched on, the like the Tesla and the needs that is going to come from that, from all the, the programs within your school, and how they can actually be working with some of these different companies that are coming up and around Reno. So I really enjoyed your presentation because, again, like
Mhm.
Avery and I stated earlier, it's just these things we don't ever think about. We don't see these schools. And so, this is a perfect opportunity for our high school students to be looking at a school like this if any of those really interest them. So thank you so much for coming and providing that.
No, right. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And another cool thing that our campus does is, for example, the diesel program, they'll have an advisory board meeting where they will invite the employers in the community. So they'll invite 5, 10, 15 diesel employers. They'll have a meeting. They'll talk about the needs, or are you guys hiring our students? Are our students working out, or what do you need? What do you need in the field? Because a lot of fields are changing rapidly. So once a semester, we hold those meetings just to stay on top of the demands, and our instructors continue to have and build those relationships with the employers around town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really good to hear too, because like you said earlier, with COVID, we don't know we could have something else wild happen next. So the industry is always gonna change. So that's cool to hear. And it looks like we don't have. I mean, you answered all our questions too. I'm pretty sure you answered our guest questions, but we don't have any more questions from the audience. So I just want to thank you again for coming out, Carlos, and giving this presentation. It was, like I said, it was amazing. I learned a lot, and I'm pretty sure everybody else learned a lot too. Thank you. Did you have any final words for us or our guests? A piece of advice for students?
Right. No, I think a lot of students get stuck, right? Where like, what am I going to do, right? I'm 17, I'm 18. They're asking me to make a choice, a lifelong choice, and it's okay. It's okay to not know what you want to do. Um, I mean, I didn't know what I wanted to do, right? I went into business. I have a business degree, and I didn't know what to do, so I went to Vegas, and I ended up working for a trio program, helping adults go to college randomly, just randomly. And I enjoyed it and I liked it. And that's what I'm doing here now. So definitely for the student, it's difficult. It's difficult to pick a major, to make those choices. So if any of these trades or fields high demand interests you, come check it out. Come take a tour, see the students, talk to the instructors, see what you like. But don't wait. Like, don't wait another year. Don't wait another semester to say, "Oh, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out." Just go ahead, try it out. Um, that's the way you'll know. Try something out. If you don't like it, then you tried it out, and you're that much closer to finding where your passion will lead you. So always try it out. Apply for scholarships, apply for those grants, and ask questions. Seek information. Ask questions for me, for someone else that you meet on campus, because that's what we're here for. We're here to answer your questions. We're here to help you, and we understand it's difficult. We understand it is difficult to fill out all those applications, and then what's next? Orientation, FAFSA, what's next? I don't understand. So definitely ask questions. You guys have my information. So hopefully if you know a neighbor, a friend, a student, a colleague, anybody that wants to seek more information, give me a call, shoot me an email, and I'll be more than happy to answer those questions. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Carlos. I almost think this is also applicable to students who are individuals who are older and find themselves in a rut. Like, wow, I really don't like to sit behind a desk. I would rather be working with my hands.
Mhm.
So, if there's anyone out there listening and you're wanting to change, your trajectory of your life, you could totally go back to school and get a trade.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep,
thank
you're never
you.
too old.
Yeah, every time I give a tour and I'm like, oh, I gotta try this or I gotta do this. Um, yeah, my colleagues and I were always talking about like, oh, which one are you going to do? Or, oh, I want to go for welding. Or, yeah. So, but unfortunately, COVID happened, so that kind of knocked us out of it. Um, But yeah, I want to learn those trades as well. So it's great for everybody.
Thank you, Carlos. You have a good evening.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
for
much,
joining us
guys.
tonight.
Hi, everybody. So feel free to rewatch the episode because it's filled with a ton of good information. And it's very beneficial to, like Ferdinand said, know if you know somebody who's looking for something, if you yourself is looking for a different career path, feel free to check out Carlos's presentation again. Send Carlos an email. Feel free to give him a call because this is a really good pathway right here.
Right. Thank you, Avery. And I'd like to put a plug in for your new podcast. Do you want
Oh
to?
yeah. So if everybody, I don't know if people notice I have a cool mic now, but so we started a podcast. It's called the Indian Tea Podcast, and basically it's myself and three other people, and we basically just talk about political education and native life in general. We laugh a lot, so feel free to tune in if you like. Follow our Facebook page and social medias. But yeah, don't forget also to follow Amplify Nevada Native Youth and follow all our social media, share our videos, and for next week we're going to be hosting Great Basic College and to see what kind of trades they offer and also have an overview of the school too. So we're excited. And
All right.
everybody have a great weekend, have a great Friday, and we will see you all next week.
Good night.